welcome, one and all. Welcome, my viewers. It's nice to see you here again. Welcome to the Nightcap Show right here on the channel designed to inspire with your host, Charlene Clark Curo. Please remember to like, share, and comment below. And thank you for joining. Now, October is known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It started as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October 1985, not too long ago. And it was a partnership between the American Society and the Pharmaceutical Division of Imperial Chemical Industries to promote mammograms as the most effective tool to fight breast cancer. Yes. It is an annual international health campaign to increase awareness of the disease and also to raise funds for research into its cause, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and cure. To find out more about the origin and purpose of breast cancer, please read up on the brief history of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can find that on the internet. So there you will get more information. The color was peach and then it was changed to pink. You can get the information as to why. So you have the information out there for those of you who want to research some more about breast cancer awareness month and how we came about this awareness intervention. Now, since then, religiously, October is celebrated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month globally. Early detection save lives. The awareness is aimed at providing information about cancer and the importance of doing regular tests, viewers, right? And these regular tests will help to detect the prevalence of cancer before it is too late. Now, today on the Nightcap Show, I will be recapping discussions I had with a nurse, a cancer survivor, and also a mother who lost her son to cancer. Stay tuned, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, listeners and viewers of the Nightcap Show. It's so good to have you here with me today. Now, the word cancer can drive fear into anyone who is told that they have the disease. But do you know what is cancer? Do you know about cancer? Are you aware of the symptoms, if there are symptoms? Does cancer affect a person within a certain age group? I sat down to talk with Patrice Labiche from the Emory Health Center in Atlanta, Georgia, about cancer. Here is a recap of what she shared.
So it's in your lymph nodes, it's in your bones, it's in multiple organs. And at this point, you're targeting all these different areas. So it's a lot harder to manage. Like it's outside, it's in your bloodstreams. Whereas for stage one, it's locally, it's centrally located. So it's in one specific area. It hasn't reached anywhere yet. It hasn't spread to other organs, other other lymph nodes. It hasn't broken outside of that cell, so to speak. So
Patrice, who gets cancer?
Do we have a specific set of people, who is susceptible to cancer? Who gets cancer?
Every single body has a potential chance of getting cancer. It doesn't matter if you're the healthiest person in the world, if you do certain things, if you try to be, it's just, and that's why it's so important for these physicals, because you could be extremely healthy, work out, eat healthy stuff, all organic food and so on and so forth. And you can still get it because it can be genetic. It's something that can cause anybody. Like, it could even be your environment. It could even be something you eat that you didn't even know. It could be something that it just runs in your family, and if your family is notorious for going to the doctors and things like that, then you don't know. So it's not something that you know to look out for or be mindful of. Like with breast cancer, there's the BRCA gene, BRCA. If you don't have, if it's genetic, so a lot of people who has it, insurance are now at a point where they're like, okay, if you have this gene, the BRCA gene, they're even willing to let you go ahead and cut off your breasts in order to prevent the cancer. And so they're paying in certain cases, if you have these genetic modifications, or these specific genes, they're at this point willing, because they figure being able to cut off your breasts or to get rid of your ovaries and stuff like that is cheaper than having to fight a cancer battle, because these cancer drugs are not cheap.
Right.
I remember at one point I even had, because I was also a chemo certified nurse at one point, and this chemo drug that I had to give, one bag was worth over $100,000 US.
Wow.
So it's extremely expensive. So a lot of times prevention is way better than trying to find a cure. So it all goes back to making sure make sure you, first off, you doctor find that you check the reviews of your doctor. You're making sure this is a doctor that's known for doing well for people. It's not just a doctor for the heck of it, not a doctor that's getting pushbacks from pharmacy, because then that's going to put you in a whole different situation. But just make sure it's a doctor that genuinely cares about you and your health and actually loves what they're doing.
I hope you would have learned some new information. And if you want to see the full show, if you want to hear the full conversation, please go to my YouTube channel. Well, you're already on my channel. The video was uploaded earlier. I think it was last year. So if you care to listen to those of you who have not heard it before, who would like to hear the full conversation, it's right here on my channel. Now, my next interview was with a breast cancer survivor, Lovendora Shaw, whose diagnosis came after she casually touched her breast and felt a lump. For her, her willpower, support, and early detection saved her life and brought her to the place of a successful recovery. Here is her story.
Thank you so very much, Charlene, for inviting me to, speak on my truth about my experience with breast cancer. And I really hope that, what I'm about to share will fall on fertile ground, and that somebody out there will use it as something helpful to guide them through this process, or a family member who has someone who is experiencing breast cancer, or has gone through breast cancer, to just understand how to deal with the situation and know that it's not over.
How did you find out about your cancer?
So, funny story. So one Saturday I was sitting, with my daughter in my son's room, and we were watching cartoons.
Right.
And my right hand, just went on my left breast for no particular reason.
Right.
And I had my hand there and I felt a lump. And I started probing. And when I recognized that it was actually a lump, I called my husband and I asked him to just feel it, just to see that I'm not, thinking things.
Right.
Just to feel and let me know if he actually, felt a lump. And he said, yes, it's a lump.
Right.
And, immediately I got up, I went to the bathroom, I showered, and I went to the doctor. Because one of the things I always say is, if it is something that I'm not able to deal with, like the common cold or a headache, if it's something foreign that I know nothing about, I'm heading straight to the doctor. After that, whatever came up, it doesn't matter how small or insignificant or how major it may be, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to the doctor because I am not a doctor and they're
Okay.
better able to tell me what is happening. So I
Okay.
don't play around with anything like that. Once there's something that I cannot explain,
Right.
I'm going to the doctor. And I remembered when we went into the doctor's office, my file
Mm-hmm.
was brought into the office. Now, I have this tendency to look through my file because I want
Right.
to know what's happening. I do it all the time. Said, opening the file and the letter, the report actually was at the top of the file. And I started reading. Now, I read it from front to back and I understood nothing because
Wow.
all the terms were
We're
foreign to
medical
me.
terms.
But I knew something was wrong because at the bottom of each page, the word urgent was written.
Oh,
And I
wow.
looked at him and I said to him, something is happening here. Now, when my doctor came, I could see the look on his face. He actually read the report 3 times before he was able to say to us it was cancer. My naturopathic doctor now, when I went and, I showed him the results of the test and everything, he said to me, okay, you're going to go back to your doctor. Because when I went to him, I told him, listen, I made up my mind. I have had 2 children already. I don't need these breasts, so I can take them off. I don't need them.
Right.
So when I went to him and I told him, he listened to me and he said to me, okay, I hear what you're saying, but that's not what you're going to do. You're going to
Mm.
go back to your doctor and you're going to ask him about a lumpectomy rather than a mastectomy
Mm-hmm.
because where it was located and the size of it, um, it have a discussion with him about having a lumpectomy because in this case, his opinion is that it's better for you to do a lumpectomy rather than a mastectomy. Because I was on my naturopathic medication and I changed my lifestyle, the staging of the cancer never changed one bit.
Interesting. At the beginning, you said that you were already planning your funeral while the doctor was having a discussion with you and your husband. You zoned out and went straight to funeral planning. But now, at this point, when you understood what cancer was all about and going, did you ever think that you would have lost the battle? No.
No, no,
Okay.
because I forgot to tell you this part. The second day after the diagnosis, in the morning part of the day, I was on an emotional roller coaster. I was up, I was down, I was all over the place. The tears come, they went, and I was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I got up and I went into my bathroom and I stood in front of the mirror and I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said to me, as clear as day, I hear people say things all the time, but listen, this is my experience, and I'm telling you, the Lord said to me, as clear as day, you need to stop. I have allowed you to find this thing early, and I've shown you what to do, so just do it. And
Mm-hmm.
it took 1.5 days to grieve for myself. Just 1.5 days. After that, it,
Action.
it, it was like I was on a mission to
Mm-hmm.
get this thing done and just do what I needed to do. There was no room, and there still is no room inside my heart for sympathy. I just know that I need to work on this
Mm-hmm.
and that my Lord is in control and it can be dealt with. Nothing is impossible for him. So my takeaway would be, first of all, you have to win this mentally before you even start to approach it physically. And so you have to come to a place in your head that, listen, this is not going to dominate you. You will dominate it. This will not take over your body. You will make sure that you will work on it and do whatever it is that you need to do from your head first and then approach it physically. Now, for me, I'm still dealing with it holistic, even though
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through chemotherapy, because I do believe that the more natural you can go, the better it is for you in terms of what you consume. And
Right.
even
So healthy diet.
healthy diet is key.
Mm-hmm.
Even the deodorant that you use and the shampoo that you use and the
Mm-hmm.
lotion you use, I try to find the ones without paraben and all of those things that are not good for you.
Right.
And start with things like that. So what you consume, what you put on your
Body.
body,
Mm-hmm.
key. I do also believe that the if you want to do the chemotherapy route and radiation, by all means, go ahead, because there are some stages that definitely need the chemotherapy and the radiation to get the thing under control.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you that I'm a doctor or I have all the knowledge there is to be about cancer, but I do believe that naturopathic medication works, and based on what I have experienced with the chemotherapy and the results that I've gotten after having chemotherapy, it also works. It is left to the individual to decide what he or she wants to do. But I can tell you, you can never go wrong with treating your body the way how it is supposed to be treated, meaning that you put clean, healthy stuff inside your body, and
Right.
you will see it manifest both on the inside and on the outside.
It is very important to do your regular checkup. For Lovendora, this worked for her. She did not wait. She did not call a friend. She didn't Google it. She went straight to the doctor, got her diagnosis right, and went into full action mode to prepare her body for recovery mode. So that was Lavendora's story. And of course, if you'd like to hear the full conversation, it's right here on my channel. You may listen to the full conversation. Finally, I share with you a story of a mother who lost her young child to cancer. This for me was one of the hardest interviews I've ever done, as it was very emotional and unfortunate. Please listen to this story.
Thank you for having me, Charlene. It's a pleasure being here. Rashawn was the child who brought light into a room. Not that the others didn't, but he was that child who you would, if you were meeting him for the very first time, you would say, "Who is that child?" He was always jovial. He's always laughing. He's the one to come and say, "Mommy, I love you," and give you a kiss on the
Mm-hmm.
cheek. Or he would come
Mm-hmm.
and hug you and said, "It's time to go sleep. Come and lie down with me." He's such a loving, sweet child. He was full of light. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much more I could say, but he was just a child who made it all worthwhile.
Tell me, how did you find out that he was ill?
Okay, so he went to school as always one day, and the teacher said to me, he seemed a little lethargic. He was sleeping in class. So she wanted to know if he was sleeping at night. So I said, yes, he goes to bed at 8, so he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember him getting really sick at school and he was vomiting. He had a temperature,
Mm-hmm.
and she called to come and get him because he doesn't look like he's feeling well. We
Right.
got him and we took him to the doctor. The doctor said, "Oh, it's just a bug from school and he'll be fine."
Right.
Yes, he was fine. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't he, he didn't continue with the vomiting. But after that, I realized he wasn't eating and his clothes didn't fit him as well. They started to fall off. So I'm like, what's going on?
Right.
So being concerned, I went back to the doctors and I said, he's losing weight. What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? So the doctors assured me that when a child is growing up, it's normal for them to lose weight. So
Mm-hmm.
just give him some vitamins and see what happens. He he started to eat less. The
Mm-hmm.
weight loss was one of the things I realized. But even though I was taking him to the doctor, in the back of my head, I
Mm-hmm.
started saying, "Oh, but this does not look normal." There was just something bugging me about it. This onset of not eating and sleeping so much that wasn't sitting right with me. So I took him to the doctor the day. That was a regular general practitioner that I took him to. And I said, something is not right. And the doctor said, I know you're worried, but remember, this is a growing boy. It's just a growth spurt. He'll be okay. And by the evening day, I said, no, something is wrong. And I called his dad and said, listen, I'm taking Rashawn to the pediatrician because that is who I think we should see at this point because something is going off. But these bulges I'm noticing in his tummy. And she said, well, based on what I'm seeing, it could be an hernia, but not to be concerned. You're going to have to do an ultrasound to really say what's going on.
Right.
And we did the ultrasound the Friday morning. By the Friday afternoon, I got a call from her, and she said to me, hi, how are you? I said, I'm fine. She said, I need to see you in my office on Monday. Is that okay? And when you're coming, please bring your husband with you.
Oh, wow.
In the back of my head, it's like, I can do this by myself. I don't see why I need him to come.
Right. Oh, wow.
But anyways, I called him and I said to him, I said, doctor said we need to come on Monday. I said, it can't be anything serious because if it was serious, she'd say, come right now. So we were kind of banking on that. But anywho's, we went to the lab. We picked up the ultrasound report. Being me, I ain't carrying no pussy, no bag. So I opened the letter. And when I opened the letter, it said possible lymphoma. I wanted to pee. I had chills, everything. Now, this child was in my lap. We were driving to the doctor's office.
Right.
And when I went, she said to me, and she saw the look on my face, and she said, Mommy, you read the letter, right? I said, yes, I did. She said, I knew you would. And she said, we're going to have to talk about what you saw in the letter. But before you do, let us pray. And that is where it all started. I was like, somebody please pinch me when this terrible nightmare is over.
Right.
Doctor, you could never be talking about my son. Something went wrong. That's the wrong ultrasound they looked at. This is the wrong child you're talking about. Nope, you are wrong. I was in disbelief. It was like something from a movie. It just did not feel real. However, when the words came, she said, it's possible lymphoma. It was like I started to cry. The tears were coming. My son was there and he was like, Mommy, why are you crying? Mommy, don't cry. And he was wiping my tears. And I was like, baby, if you only understood this death sentence that is being passed on you. I said, God, how could it be? How could it be? You are wrong. Something. I said, I started to think, I'm like, God, what did I do? Is it something that I did why I'm getting this punishment? He was 3 years old at this point. He was 3 years. Within those couple of days, he took a turn for the worst, which was he stopped eating again. He was running a temperature. He was just laying down. We had to call her back because by this, we had her number. We had her on speed dial because as far as I'm concerned, this death sentence, we need a doctor on call. I mean, after being given this death sentence, and I'm thinking, no, Lord, when are you going to take him from me? Lord, don't take him from me. I was praying. I found my faith when my child got sick, I had to have hope. If I didn't, who was going to? That was my thing. I'm like, I'm his mother. I didn't even think about his dad because it's like, I'm the one who carried him for 9 months. Even though he was a very supportive father, he was there. He took us. He came to the hospital. He would stay, come from work, stay at the hospital, leave the hospital, go back to work. He was very supportive. He was there for us 100%. But for me personally, I'm like, I carried this child for 9 months. If I don't have hope, who will? I felt like if I have to move the whole mountain just for him to survive, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. even if I don't know where the money is coming from, I'm gonna find it. If I have to sell every piece of furniture in this house for him to live, that is exactly what I am going to do. So for me, it was like God just tested my faith. I'm like, God, here is my faith. I'm putting my 100% into this because my child has to live. But then it was time for him to do the surgery. I
Right.
can remember we did it on September 25th. I remember that day.
This
And
September 25th of what year?
2018.
Okay.
Um, I remember after coming from surgery, the surgeon, she spoke to me and she said, we got as much as we could, but there are some that we could not get to. I was like, okay, well, at least you got some, so we can work with that. After the surgery, the pain would not stop. It's like even days after, the pain was so severe. He
Wow.
cried day, he cried night. I had to walk around with him on my shoulder just for him to feel comfort, but that would not ease the pain. I went back to his doctor, his oncologist, and I said to her, I said, the pain is so terrible, he needs something. The only thing they could give him was morphine,
Morphine,
because there
morphine.
was nothing else that could help with the pain. And they were saying, oh, we got to watch him. There were nights when they would give him a painkiller, and I would have to go back like minutes after. I said, listen, you have to up the dose because something is not going right. You need to call the doctor. Something is wrong. It's like the cancer just came back with such force. It
Mm-hmm.
just started to spread so rapidly. They told me that it was swollen in the first place. It got swollen again. It was like I'm going through this again. And
Mm-hmm.
even so, when the doctors called me and said, we're gonna try and get him in ICU just to see what we can do. And when the ICU doctor came, she said, um, I don't think we could take him in the ICU because he's so swollen. And if we even try to get something in his stomach right now, we might just puncture some of his organs. And she said, there's nothing I could do. And my doctor at the time, she called me and said, this is it. I said, doctor, you must be mad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You must be mad because he has been through this before, even worse than this, and he made it. No, 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 you are wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
listen, I'm not afraid to voice my opinion. Like I said, doctor, you are wrong. She said, I'm so sorry, but this time he's not gonna make it.
Very sad story. Now, if you would like to hear the entire conversation, that video is also on my channel. Now, unfortunately for Rashawn, his body deteriorated rapidly and he didn't make it. Very sad story. Condolences to his family and friends. A very sad story when a child didn't get the opportunity to live. Very sad story. Cancer is no joke, and today we feel strong and healthy, but without proper dieting and exercise, coupled with regular checkups, tomorrow might be a day of sorrow and pain for our families and friends. Please, please do your regular checkups. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining, and please remember to share, like, and subscribe. Do your regular checkup and do not wait until it's too late. Give yourself a chance to live by doing the right thing. Some tests that you will have to do might cause mild discomfort, but would you not rather the discomfort than being told that you waited too long? Cancer is real. Early detection saves lives. Early detection will save your life. Next week, the Nightcap Show will be live as I speak with a cancer survivor who who survived colon cancer. Please remember to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed so that you don't miss that show or any other show. And if you would like to participate in the program or know of someone who has a powerful story to share that will bring forth inspiration and motivation, please contact me. My contact information is in the link below. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, listeners, thank you for joining me here on the Design to Inspire channel with the Nightcap Show, another show that brought motivation and inspiration. In this case, awareness. Stay healthy, do your checkup, and as we always say, be inspired.